Well, greetings everybody. Well, we are blessed. We are blessed to be here on the Steenhatchee River today, here on our ministry's sailboats. And nice breeze, temperature just right. Reminds me of being in the islands. When we down in the islands, we have those trade winds, and those trade winds make it really comfortable, despite the heat factor at times. It makes it really comfortable having those trade winds coming off the sea most all the time, and so that's kind of how it seems here today. We got a little breeze here. We could be doing some serious sailing if we was out there offshore today, and we just wanted to greet everybody, and we just received word yesterday. We have a huge, I guess we could call it a fabricated anchor, I guess what we could call it. But it's just about finished, and we'll be putting our vessel down the anchor just a tad bit. This is a federally designated anchorage, by the way. But one reason I'm making this little video, because sailors, mariners at large need to speak out. There are business people and some property owners, politicians, that would just love to take what rights and liberty we have left, take them away from us. And if we don't speak out, they're going to pass a bunch of nonsense legislation that's unconstitutional. And it's sad, because America has suffered what we would call the frog in the pot syndrome. That frog was just fine as long as that temperature was right, but by the time he realized that it was to a place where it was dangerous and detrimental to his livelihood, it is too late. And I'm afraid that's what's happened to a lot of our rights and our liberty right here in America. These maritime freedoms that we have is some of the last freedoms we have in this country of ours. And when you've got people that are lovers of filthy lucre and politicians that seek to destroy those liberties that we have, then we the people need to stand up and say, hey, no, some of us are veterans. Whether we're a veteran, whether we're not a veteran, I would surely think that most of us would be freedom-loving Americans, and we need to have some priorities. And so I guess that's why I'm making this little video. I just noticed it was sent to me. We actually did post it, but they have legislation on the table here in Florida where they're trying to take away our anchoring rights. And for an example, we have these two big ministry boats. We never have made a voyage in the last couple of years because we're pastoring a church, but we have other associate captains with this ministry. And whether we make another voyage before long or whether we don't, to me that's irrelevant. There are people that are liveaboards, not here on the river anymore. I don't know of a single person living here on the river. The derelicts are all gone. We have one little boat that I guess you might say is a derelict, but it's going to be removed in the very near future. We've had a hand in that to get it removed, and so it'll be off the river here in a very short future. So basically, that we ain't going to have 3 boats out here, and ain't a narrow one of them a derelict. Everything's up and down. Not only that, we went to some great measures, put down some serious weight. And I know that we've said this in previous videos, but I'm going to say it again. We had a flotilla of boats that were tied off to tree roots and little puny anchors that wasn't enough for an ant to be trying to hold a bale of hay. They were just too small. And of course, in no time at all, they were gone through the docks, slammed in, no doubt, our boat too, and we all ended up in the marsh. I can't say because I did not ride the boat out during Hurricane Helene. So I can't stand here and say whether the boat would have stayed where it was supposed to or not. But I do believe this, despite all those derelicts that slammed into us, I don't think we would have ended up where we did. We might have, if we had drug at all, it would have been just a short piece, I think, over to the edge or someplace. It would never have ended up in the tree line way over there in the marsh, as it were. And so that's just speculation, but that is what myself and others believe now, having hindsight, which is 2020. But nevertheless, we need to stand up for our rights and our freedoms. I'm in full harmony with property owners, and along with responsible boat owners. That derelicts, people that don't take care of their property, they don't properly secure them, it shouldn't be. And that's what causes trouble for the rest of us that are responsible. And I wish that somebody would know that we could differentiate between those that take care of the property and those that don't. And as I made mention already, this is a federally designated anchorage here. And we don't need local town rules, regulations, legislation, what have you, that forbid that. A lot of history right here on the Steinhatchee River. The War of Southern Independence. Some of our boats came up in here. Pirates used to hide here from the authorities, the Indians. I mean, there's just so much history right here on the Steinhatchee River. And a lot of history here. There was a time, I know, that there was a lot of sponge boats in here and other commercial fishing vessels. I mean, I want to add this in this little video. If they want to outlaw sailboats being in here that we use for ministry to haul storm relief and humanitarian aid to those in need, if they want to, or even if we weren't doing that. But nevertheless, and the barges and these other boats that come right under the same rule, they're going to have to move them every week or so, every little bit as well. Relocate them. I mean, the old saying is, back in the woods, what's good for the gander, goose is good for the gander. And it's just not right that you got certain business entities that just want to control everything. And that's a terrible thing. Our country's not founded on that kind of nonsense. Money and greed, filthy lucre. And so that's all I got to say. It's a lovely day here. We praise the Lord for that. It is a lovely day, and it's a lovely, good day to be on the water. It's pretty quiet here today. Anyhow, God bless every one of you. So we're going to be relocating 2 ministry vessels. We're moving down the anchorage here very, very soon. Pastor a church. Having said that, it seems like it comes in sporadically, but this past week we spent a lot of time in the hospitals visiting our sick, and we just had one of our dear sisters in the Lord went to be with the Lord yesterday, and so now we got a funeral coming up this next week too in our local church. And so a lot going on, a lot of ministry, a lot going on. I might also add, those of you that are aware of Pastor St. Leek, he's our national pastor in Haiti, who has actually spoken several of our churches right here, actually in Steinhatchee and in the local churches in Perry and Old Town, Cross City, and Chiefland areas, and our local Tri-County area, I guess you might would say. A lot of folks know Pastor St. Leek, and most of you probably are aware of this already, but I don't know that I have posted this on Steinhatchee Cruisers, Woods and Seas, but we have on our own personal social media page. But about a month or so ago now, something like that, gangs came into his local village and just started killing people at random, shooting them down for no rhyme or reason. Pastor Luke kind of lives down in a little valley, so he's not right up in the village, but they was able to escape. They walked for days through the cane fields. They crossed rivers. They had to cross the big river, the Bukankari, and they went past until they got far enough away from the gang inhabited areas and finally made their way to Cape Haitian. Today they're safe, Of course, the Lord's been helping us through people that pray and have sacrificially and generously given to help Pastor St. Luke. And so we've been helping him. He's basically starting all over again. They've lost everything, absolutely everything. Pastor St. Luke oversees 15 churches, and we have feeding programs there, the Manche Salavi feeding programs in Haiti. And so that's kind of in a brief summary of what he does. And some of you are familiar with that situation. And if you weren't, now you know just a little bit about it. And but anyhow, so we've been really involved in trying to help him out as well. And then, of course, the feeding programs there. And then we have a sister large selling boat that now is in Port Antonio, Jamaica. And because we hadn't made the voyage in this year, we were able to send a large amount of humanitarian aid and supplies into our local churches and our people there at Île Vache through this other large vessel. Currently, as I just mentioned, they are at Port Antonio, Jamaica, and just in the very near future, they'll be selling that 180 nautical mile from there on in to Île Vache, where they'll offload all the things that we've been able to send in. God bless you. That's all we can say for now. God bless you, everyone. And the old saying is, fair winds and following seas. But now I'm going to have to confess, I'm not a big lover of following seas. Following seas, it's very, very difficult to keep your sailboat on course. And you'll always want to deviate to starboard or port. And I prefer just to have a little bit of some breeze coming off the quarter beam or something, and we just sail right on. But nevertheless, I suppose that's a matter of preference. So we usually don't follow it up with following seas. It's fair winds, and God bless you. Blessing to the Lord. So God bless you until next time.